Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a lesson for how to get your psychic abilities up and running. So we're going to explore our psychic power. I'm going to share some slides with you, and I hope you stick around till the end. We're going to do some brain exercises, some visualization techniques. Um, Oh, and I have a really great little 8-minute film I want to share toward the end too that proves that this is not woo-woo crap, that this is physics, okay? Because you all know how I love to provide the science that backs it up, and science is finally catching up with all of this. So we have those tools to use to our advantage. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and we'll begin. Mm-mm. All right, let me put my glasses on so I can see which one of these I'm wanting first. That one right there. And I hope my audio works correctly this time. Okay, so we're going to begin with this little quote. What is psychic perception? A psychic person is someone who claims to use extrasensory perception, also known as ESP, to identify information that is hidden from our normal five senses, particularly involving telepathy or clairvoyance, or who performs acts that are apparently inexplicable by natural law, such as psychokinesis or teleportation. However, like I've said, there is science that can actually back up your psychic abilities at this time. So, without further ado, I'm going to move on. Let me move this over some so that I can see my whole screen. Here we go. Okay. Let me just make sure that you're also seeing everything that I see. Okay, I think I need to do it this way. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm ready now. I just want to make sure that you're going to be able to see all of the slides that I show. So, exploring our psychic power. It's all in the imagination. That's often the response, actually, of skeptics and some scientists when they are discussing the existence or otherwise claim to psychic power. I hope you can hear me okay too. Yet, it is the imagination itself, one of the most powerful areas of the mind, that when coupled with synchronicity and the interplay of cosmic consciousness, is the key to unlocking your innate God given power. So, in this chapter, if you will, we're going to learn techniques to develop your imagination and your mental concentration, as well as the basics of psychic protection and mental concentration. How to prepare yourself for discovering the deeper levels of your psychic work while also remaining safe. So let's talk for a moment about coincidence, or is it synchronicity? Do you ever wonder whether an event in your life is just a coincidence or if there's really more to it? Do you ever think that it might be some kind of a sign? Do you feel there are powers at work that we do not fully understand? For example, let's say you are too late to catch a plane to go to a wedding, but you meet the partner of your dreams on the next plane. You notice a no entry sign that you've never seen before, and when you return home, you discover that you've locked yourself out of the house. Hmm. Perhaps you dream a strange dream, and then when you tell your friend or your partner, you discover that they too had the same dream. The symbolic world matters to you. Are you psychic, or is this synchronicity, or is it both? So, symbolic meaning. Let's talk about that for a moment. Coincidences and chance can both be measured scientifically, but synchronicity is a word coined by the famous psychologist Carl Jung for a meaningful coincidence. Still unexplainable, it is a set of occurrences that are not logically or causally related, but give us a unique, mysterious experience. We place a personal value or meaning on bringing together symbols, or even on events or experiences that relate to each other symbolically. We see them as part of each other and they matter to us. Are these events pure chance, or is it something deeper that's taking place? Well, the beliefs of Jung was that synchronicity revealed the interconnectedness of the universe. He believed that there were two main factors involved here. First, that an unconscious image would appear, either as a physical, literal experience or as an imagined thought or an outer symbol, and that secondly, an objective event would coincide with this. Each event would be as bizarre as the other, but this interplay of conscious perception, the unconscious and the cosmic consciousness, is the pathway to your psychic power. Jung believed that there were parallels between synchronicity, relativity, and quantum mechanics. He also thought that life was not a series of random events, but rather an expression of a deeper order, and that a person noticing synchronicity was engaging in some kind of spiritual awakening or tuning in to the cosmos. Jung also believed that anything born into a moment of time, whether literally a birth or an event, captured the quality of that moment. Synchronicity has parallels with Chinese Tao, Greek cosmic sympathies, Hermetic microcosm to macrocosms. The archetypal patterns involved in synchronistic experiences are the glue that holds them together. Jung realized that synchronicity was not just a relationship between the inner human world and the external one, but was also the essence of the moment. So, if a flock of birds fly overhead, just as you hear the song Blackbird on the radio, you are personally in tune with that moment's essence. You are going to learn to do this by developing your own psychic power and being in the moment where all the knowledge is one. So now I want to show you another slide of a maybe not so famous man, Ray Grassi. In the Waking Dream, Unlocking the Symbolic Languages of Our Lives, the esoteric author Ray Grassi suggests that instead of being a rare phenomenon, as Jung suggested, that synchronicity is actually more likely to be all pervasive, and that the occasional dramatic coincidence is only the tip of a larger iceberg of meaning that underlies our lives. Rossi places the discussion of synchronicity in the context of what he calls the symbolist worldview, a traditional way of perceiving the universe that regards all phenomena as being interwoven by linked analogies or correspondences. Though omnipresent, these correspondences tend to become obvious only in the case of the most startling of coincidences. Hmm. So now I want to talk for a moment again about Jung and about living backwards. Jung was fond of a scene in Lewis Carroll's book that's called Alice Through the Looking Glass. And this is very significant to many of you, so I hope that you should pay attention because there have been cues that have mentioned this. The scene is used to explain the paradox of synchronicity. This is the moment when the Queen explains to Alice how living backwards can be advantageous because the memory has to work both ways. Soon, you are going to learn how to live backwards by developing your right brain thinking. So stick with me because we're going to do an exercise so that you can learn how to do just that. Excuse me. From a scientific viewpoint, many theories have been put forward about how the mind can literally influence matter. This is also known as magical thinking. One such recent theory, referred to as the butterfly effect, with which most of you should be familiar with, is developed in the ideas of a biochemist and plant physiologist by the name of Rupert Sheldrake. He believed that the morphic fields surround every living thing and are influenced by other living things. This concept has been considered by mainstream science as mere pseudoscience until recently, since it's been under new investigation. So, mind over matter? Many psychics think that if we believe something powerfully enough, we can make it happen. This is similar to the knock-on effect in chaos theory or the butterfly effect. The latter was coined from the title of a talk, Does the Flap of a Butterfly's Wings in Brazil Set Off a Tornado in Texas? That was done by meteorologist Edward Lorenz. And more recently, a scientific study has been carried out at the University of Colorado at Boulder, and that was in 2007, supports the concepts of the power over the mind matter. University professor Garrett Model aimed a beam of light at a slide, and then he asked his students to try mentally to increase the amount of reflected light. They increased the reflection of the beam by 0.05% and had a similar success rate when they were asked to then decrease the amount of reflected light as well. It's about focus and intent. So let's go back a moment to imagination and the cosmic mind. What is imagination really? Is it your inner vision, the ability to form mental images, memories, and daydreaming? Both are manifestations of your imagination, and they are used daily. For example, remembering how you got from point A to point B relies to some extent on imagination. You can recall in your mind how you made the journey through the images that you see. Developing your imaginative powers will sharpen your awareness of your own desires. Imagine what you intend to achieve, then visualize climbing your mountain to success. Create a protective psychic light around you and begin to access the sixth sense of your imagination. With the power of your imagination and changing consciousness, you can begin to interweave the cosmic mind. It is through this web that you begin to discover hidden knowledge about others, yourself, meet your spirit guides or guardian angels, and learn that the future and the past can both be accessed as easily as you sit there now, aware of your present moment. Do you think in pictures, or do you have a vivid memory for numbers or words? The nature of the imagination is more mysterious than we think. You use it in creative writing, in painting, playing an instrument, visualization, relaxation, meditation techniques, and even psychic work. But your imagination isn't just about perceiving mental images, it encompasses all of your senses. So, to understand this, try some of these following things. First, sit comfortably with your eyes closed. Imagine hearing your favorite song. As you listen, imagine you can smell bread baking or cookies, whatever you prefer. Relax and close your eyes. Imagine touching a cat. What does it feel like in your mind to touch the cat? Or taste a lemon. Is it sharp and bitter in your mind? Or is it sweet and smooth? Now imagine feeling angry. Now switch your mood to feeling elated and happy. In order to access our sixth sense, we need to alter our level of consciousness. This is usually utilized through meditation, hypnosis, and almost trance-like states of mystics and channelers. In hypnosis, for example, we allow ourselves to drift into a different, less awake state, yet we are still mentally alert. It seems we are more likely to permeate the barriers and blockages of our mindset in an alert state of self-observation when it is coupled with the stilled state of the trance. And brainwaves. Scientists have noted that consciousness alters due to the change in brainwave frequency. It seems that the psychic state is more accessible when the brain is vibrating at an alpha or a theta frequency state, or fluctuating between the two. When we wander into a dream world, then feel sad at a memory before returning to rational thinking, brain waves move from alpha, theta, and then to beta. Consciousness is not lost, it is simply altered. According to Hans Berger, closing the eyes causes the brain to generate alpha waves, just simply closing the eyes. In this mildly altered state, we can begin to harness the psychic power of our mind. There are different types of brain wave frequencies. Um, they were discovered by Hans Berger, the man on the screen, in 1920, and they are named alpha, beta, theta, and delta, after the letters in the Greek alphabet. These brain waves correlate to various mental functions. The alpha waves correspond to our dream states, including daydreaming and hypnosis. Theta waves correspond to our wakeful, rational mind. Theta waves correspond to our emotional feeling and our state of mind. And the delta waves represent total unconsciousness. And there's also some really great um, tomography scan photos that I don't have in my slides that you're welcome to go and look at that can show what the human brain looks like and how it changes during REM sleep. And it's got some really great color coding that depicts the active cerebral brain areas in red, and the inactive areas will be shown in blue. Okay, so let's talk for a few minutes about some exercises that you can do for creative visualization and some little brain workouts. Visualization techniques promote positive, creative thinking and encourage the use of your right brain and of the theta and the alpha waves. By holding specific images in your mind, you're going to be less likely to be invaded by the rogue thoughts that happen to all of us. Visualizing these mental images is like watching a movie or gazing at a still photograph. So, just in limbering up, you can practice this exercise at any time of the day. The more often you practice, the more you'll prepare yourself for the time when you visualize your success, happiness, or spiritual contact. If you can find that you can't visualize in this way, just keep trying. It will eventually happen. I've had many clients to say to me, I just can't visualize. That everyone can if you keep practicing. Because where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, so number one, I want you to just sit in a quiet place and close your eyes. Think of something that you've been doing or something that you like doing. For example, playing tennis or eating a meal, chatting with a friend, strumming a guitar, whatever tickles your fancy. Now, form a mental picture of it in your mind. Start with a simple short clip, a still shot. Then, if the movie can progress, allow it to. Number two, try to visualize someone that you love, or a favorite pet, a much loved book, a favorite movie, or even an event that you really enjoy. Stay longer with the images. Create a visual story in your mind from what you're focused on. Now, let's try a brain exercise. This exercise forces you to use the parts of your brain that you maybe may have never used before. Once you've gotten the hang of these techniques, though, you can use even more, which we're going to cover in a moment. But these are the simple 4 steps. Number one, sit in a quiet place and close your eyes. Imagine that you are writing a high random number, such as 2,568, using your non-writing hand on a blackboard. So if you're right-handed, you would use your left hand in this imagination exercise, okay? Now, number two, imagine encircling the number in chalk with your writing hand. Now rub off the number with your non-writing hand and the circle with your non-writing hand. So it's like a wax on, wax off, right? Number three, then write the next number in the sequence, counting down. So 2,567. Now imagine rubbing off that number with your non-writing hand and rubbing out the circle with your writing hand. And then number four is to continue to repeat this method with the next number in the sequence, which would be 2,566, and so on, until you find it easy to visualize this exercise. It seems boring, but it's worth doing, I assure you. Okay, now I think I wanted to Yeah, I have some more exercises here I want to cover before we go to the next slide. Okay, so let's try visualizing color. Visualization is the key to achieving your astute psychic power. Imagining color is one of the simplest visualization techniques that we have, helping you to open the pathway to sensing the universe in a psychic way. Concentrate on one color at a time and discover how, for example, red is not just about seeing red, but also experiencing it. Each color has archetypal qualities. Blue helps us to relax, but it also represents water, nurturing, spiritual openness, and feminine receptivity. Red is a dynamic and passionate color. You see, it's the opposite. It represents courage and male energies and competition, competitiveness. These two exercises help you imagine two primary colors and feel their effect. Now, you'll need about 10 minutes per exercise, but let's start with blue. So sit somewhere quiet and make sure that you are not going to be interrupted. Close your eyes and create a mental picture of being connected to the earth, as if your feet have roots reaching down through its crust. Now imagine that deep within the ground, the color blue permeates the entire Earth's interior. Realize that the blue is the color of calm and serenity. Next, I want you to imagine the color blue begins to slowly work its way up through your feet and then to your shins, your knees, your thighs, your hips, your torso, and then your arms and your head. Take it slowly. See the color filling you, permeating every cell in your body until you are completely blue. Now you will feel totally calm and relaxed. Then gradually let the blue color wash away back down into the earth before you leave this technique. If you can, create a feeling of calm by visualizing blue. Open your eyes and return to your normal state. And then for seeing red, again, close your eyes, create a mental picture of a huge bubble filled with red above your head. Reach up and pierce the bubble with one finger without bursting it. Imagine the color slowly flowing through your fingers, into your hand, through your arm, into your body, until all of you are filled with red, yet the bubble still remains. Now imagine that you feel full of desire, hot, invisible, fiery, infallible. Let the red wash back up through your body to your fingertips and back into the bubble. Imagine seeing something you want in the bubble. You can get what you want simply by connecting to the bubble of desire. Let it flow into you as you let the color of red flow through you. You can even try another simple visualization technique. You can repeat this exercise as often as you like, even. It will help you to develop your own personal skills. This technique is also useful for cleansing and vitalizing your subtle body energies before doing any other psychic work. It puts you into a peaceful yet aware state of mind. So sit somewhere quiet and make sure that you're not going to be interrupted. Close your eyes and imagine a rainbow. It's surrounding and encircling you. Open your hands as if to embrace the rainbow and let the first color, red, fill your hands, the color passing into you, through you, and all around you. Now do the same with the other 6 colors: orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and then violet, until all of the colors have flowed through you. Now try to experience the principal quality associated with each color as it passes through your body. Red is associated with passion. Orange is inspiration. Yellow is playfulness. Green is desire. Blue is serenity. Indigo is spiritual understanding. And violet is universal completeness. Then open your eyes and slowly return to normality. Okay, so now I want to talk to you about psychic preparation. This is very important to know and to practice before setting off on any new adventure. You need to have your mind prepared, as well as your body and your spirit. It's not a good idea to rush ahead to try to figure out how to do an aura reading or a faith healing or telepathy without first learning these steps, as mundane as they may seem. It's like gradually building up certain muscles to train for a new sport. You have to do it in the right order in order to be successful. Psychologically, you need to be strong in yourself, confident in your power and your ability, and also aware that if you are truly looking for positive feedback from the universe, then that is what you will encounter. If you are negative or pessimistic, you're going to be met with more negative energy. With a little work on yourself and some practice, a willingness to deepen your psychic journey, not forgetting all important protective techniques, will arm you with the right purpose, belief, and spiritual strength to develop your psychic powers. Making friends with yourself is essential to developing personal psychic power. If you're not aware of your virtues and your faults, if you can't accept who you are, then you're likely going to be unable to integrate your psychic ability with the spiritual world and the interconnectedness of the universe. It's not just about being friends with the outer you. You must also be able to like the inner you and be honest with yourself. Now is the time to prepare yourself for positive psychic work and make sure that you are truly grounded and stabilized in reality. So, how do we strengthen the psyche? With a mixture of concentration, grounding, and self confidence, you can be ready to work with your psychic powers in no time. Concentration is especially important to enable you to visualize, to meditate on, and to stick to your psychic goals. This energy lets your mind focus on one object, idea, project, or thought without being led astray by the mental ramblings of your mental orchestra. So let's talk about this for a moment. Watching time. Think about how many things go through your mind every minute. Think about how many feelings, thoughts, sounds, tastes, smells, ideas, and images you have processed, and how, if you can clear your head of all those babblings, you will have a clear view of where you are going. So, this exercise that we're getting ready to cover will help you to start that process. Many of us lack concentration. Many people have come to me and said, Kelly, I just can't quiet my mind to do meditation. We drift off into a dreamy world of endless thoughts, or we fall asleep. Some of these thoughts could be positive, some of these thoughts could be negative. We also have a problem with time. We either panic about it or we get bored with it. The art of concentrating enables you to detach from such chattering thoughts inside of your head. So, this exercise also opens you to the real meaning of time and how it is only as long or as short as you imagine it to be. So, again, find a quiet place. Sit comfortably. Place a watch that has a second hand in front of you. Now, clock watch for at least 3 minutes. Sit and just watch the second hand moving around the clock face. If you find your attention wandering, then start again for another 3 minutes, counting either in your head or out loud with each second until you get to 180 seconds. It will seem longer than you had imagined that it would, I promise. All right, now we're going to talk for a minute about getting grounded. Grounding literally means being in touch with the real world. If you can keep track of your own normal mindset, you'll find that it is far easier to engage with cosmic consciousness. Being grounded is essential when you come back from a meditative or higher consciousness state, and it is vital as a platform from which to start any meditative exercise. So do this exercise before every psychic session and while you're still a beginner, as part of your ritual buildup, if you will. Once you can get to your psychic sanctuary as easy as blinking an eye, and we'll talk about that later, you can omit this exercise completely. But it may be important to return to it sometimes just to remind yourself of your physical connection to the earth. So, first, find somewhere quiet where you won't be interrupted. Sit cross legged on the floor or on the earth outside. And if you find this difficult, just sit in your favorite chair with your hands resting in your lap. Two, imagine that you are a beautiful oak tree in a forest glade. Imagine that your branches, filled with leaves and the spirits of nature, who are our guardians. You can feel the strength of your trunk, thousands of years old, and the roots that are reaching down into the ground beneath you. Now imagine that you have roots growing out of your feet from your pelvic floor, grounding you in the depths of the earth and nourishing your whole being from that source. Once you have imagined this for a few minutes, you can take a deep breath and relax. Open your eyes and know that this exercise will always keep you grounded. Self confidence and believing in your psychic power is half the battle in becoming psychic. If you truly have faith in yourself as well as belief in your psychic abilities, then you will discover that you can accomplish much in your own self development and heal others as well. So, now I want to talk about an exercise that's about thinking in a certain way. If you can think yourself positive, then you will be positive. If any negative thoughts arise, tell them, no, I will not have negative thoughts. They are banished from my mind. Cancel, cancel, cancel. If you have low self esteem, try to do this exercise every day for at least a week. If you have serious confidence issues, this exercise may not work the first time that you try it. Keep that in mind. But it is an effective way to stop the babbling brook of negativity that is taking hold of you. So please keep practicing it. You will need a piece of paper and a pencil and a bowl of small rocks. First, I want you to look at yourself in a mirror. Do you like what you see? If not, articulate what it is that you don't like. Also, your fears, your worries, and all of your woes. Don't be tempted to deceive yourself by leaving anything out. Now, write down a list of all of these things. Count out some of your pebbles, some of your rocks. These represent the negative things that you have just written down. Sit somewhere quiet and place those small rocks in a bowl. Remember that the pebbles, one by one, placing them on your written list. As you position each one, I want you to say, I have belief in myself and I am confident of my success and my psychic ability. Once you have emptied the bowl, you have emptied your mind of all negativity. Now you can discard your pebbles or rocks back outside. You have thrown away all of your vulnerability. Objectivity is one of the other necessary qualities we need for psychic work, especially when you are dealing with other people whose emotions and feelings, auras, body energies may be negative, distorted, invasive. Being uninvolved doesn't mean you don't care. It just means that you won't allow their inner energy to put yours out of balance. A calm, relaxed state is just as important as strong psyche. Meditation is a key to good relaxation. If you can, meditate once a day to still your mind, and as a beginner, before you do any psychic work, use your shielding techniques. Now, there is a such thing as a psychic's code of conduct, and I feel like I really want to address that here. Fear of what may be and the popularized skepticism presented in the scientific world can be a real hindrance to psychic development for anyone. But armed with self belief, a little curiosity, and keeping the well being of all concerned in mind, plus learning some psychic self defense basics, there's little harm to you. So establish the following major points from the start. First, you are only doing this work for the good of yourself or others. Second, you can control your thoughts. Your thoughts do not control you. Third, you truly believe in your power. That's essential. 4, you are responsible for your own choices. 5, the laws of attraction work both ways. If you are negative, you will attract negative energy to you. But if you are positive, you will also receive positive energy in turn. And 6, you are always objective and must never get emotionally involved with those that you are trying to help. Now you must create what is considered to be a universal psychic protection field to protect your aura, your body energy, and your psychic senses. So do this before you carry out any serious psychic work. This exercise has become a classic among psychic practitioners. It is one of the most straightforward visualization techniques that are available to us. It enables us to approach difficult or unfamiliar situations without worry of psychic overload or attack, either from other people or from negative energy fields. So there's 4 steps. 1, sit in a quiet place with your eyes closed, passive yet alert, mindful yet relaxed. Imagine a bright light in front of you and focus your mind on it. Gradually, imagine this light enveloping you, surrounding your whole body like a bubble that is all around you and beneath you too. Then visualize the outer surface of this bubble hardening like a protective crystalline coating, encasing you, the light inside washing over and through you and your aura. Now say to yourself, this light will protect me from all negative energies. This field of light will be with me always. No negative thoughts will ever be entertained by me. Then hold the image for a couple of minutes and take some deep breaths and let go of it gradually. Before leaving your imagined bubble of protection, say, my bubble is always there, even though I cannot see it. And then you can safely open your eyes and relax and go back to your normal senses. Okay, I have a couple of more things to share, and then I want to share the short video clip with you that shows the physics of how all of this will work. And the point of me doing this is to help you to see that it is naturally in you to be used. And it's not something that we create in our imagination, even though we need our imagination in order to create. So, real quick, let's talk about ESP. Extrasensory perception is the more scientific definition for intuition. It's our sixth sense, and more popularly, a hunch or a feeling, a gut instinct, or a feeling of being spooked. Most psychic skills, such as precognition, clairvoyance, telepathy, channeling, and mediumship, involve some kind of ESP. This is a phenomenon that is yet to be explained completely by science, but we are getting there. The phrase the sixth sense as a form of intuition was coined by Charles Richet, the Nobel Prize winning French physiologist, in his great book that was written in 1926. He concluded that there must be a sixth sense sensitive to specific vibrations that none of the other five senses are processing. The word intuition comes from a Latin root word meaning to look at or to watch over. Most people recognize intuition to be a sudden awareness or complete knowing. Sometimes it happens so quickly that you miss it, what it is that you know. It is as if you know that if you do X, then Y will be the result, but don't know how you know. So how intuition or sixth sense actually manifests may still be open to controversy. If the left brain equates with intellectual knowledge and the right brain with concepts, imagination, and feelings, psychologists have concluded that intuition is a process of right brain functioning. I think we can all agree on that. It's fueled by an emotional trigger. An emotion that feels good implies that you're going in the right direction. A negative emotion says that you're off course. Excuse me. A more spiritual approach is that the sixth sense is an instant connection to our unconscious as we tap into the universal storehouse of knowledge. Now, Alice Bailey, who was an early 20th century esoteric writer, believed that intuition was a divine power that is working through us, as well as Blavatsky and Vulcanelli and many others. However, it manifests intuition watches over us as well. So that's important to keep in mind. All right, now I have a few more exercises that will help you to develop your sixth sense, and then we're going to do the slides, the short film. So we use our five senses without much conscious awareness at all. So before working with your sixth sense, you first need to tone up your other five senses so that they can work in tandem with the sixth one. Many psychics, such as clairvoyants or channelers, often experience the spiritual world via sight, sound, touch, and healing. These, sens- these senses become our conduits for the sixth sense. So let's start with listening to silence. Try to listen to the sounds coming out of apparent silence. Sit somewhere where you believe that there is no noise, such as in a library, a country lane, the top of a mountain, or in a room that no one else can enter and nothing is on. Sit quietly and just listen. You will still hear sounds, however silent you think the environment is. Sound is relative. If you are in the world, you will hear something. And then there's your smeller. The fragrances of the universe are profoundly awakening. Let's take a rose or some other perfumed flower, for example. Close your eyes and just let the smell enter your nostrils. As you breathe in the fragrance, think laterally. Instead of just thinking this is a rose and it has this smell because it's a rose, ask yourself why a rose smells like a rose. Are there other smells coming from the rose that you hadn't noticed before? Perhaps its stem has a different fragrance, or the sun's warmth on a single petal may subtly alter its scent from that of the other petals. What about the garden where you picked the rose? Can you smell it, or the wider countryside, or the world itself? Can you smell the universe in a rose? Then there's touch. So place a leaf, a piece of fruit, or even a crystal in the palm of your hand. All these objects have their own natural energetic field, their own vibration. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and concentrate on the object and what it feels like in the palm of your hand. Now touch the object with your other hand. Then move that hand 2 to 3 inches away and feel the subtle energies that are exuding from the object. Experiment with other people's possessions, even. This exercise will also help you to develop your powers of psychometry, which is a form of divination that's using someone else's belongings to tell a story, whether it's to tell a story about them or to find them or whatever. I've used this a few times to help locate missing people. So, your peripheral vision is another one. Much of what we see passes us by. We see what we want to see. So, in this exercise, we will make you more aware of things that you wouldn't normally see, preparing you to start to see auras and other energy fields, whether spiritual or material. So, hold your finger out in front of you at arm's length but eye level. And as you focus and begin to stare upon it, be aware of everything else that is around it, but without focusing on anything else, as if you're looking through your finger. Begin to note that other things in the room or the landscape behind your finger gradually begin to increase your peripheral awareness as you look out from the corners of your eyes, but still look straight ahead and be aware of things going on almost behind you, even. Continue to practice this, and you will be gifted with a whole new form of sight. So now, working with your sixth sense, this exercise will help you to develop your right brain intuitive and sixth sense processes. The more you come to trust your intuition and the more that you practice visualization techniques, the easier it is going to be for you to carry out any psychic work. So make a conscious decision to be totally on your own. Choose a suitable place in which you can ensure a deep level of receptivity, and then begin to relax and breathe quietly. Close your eyes and imagine that you are walking down a very long road. To the right of you are fields in a beautiful landscape. To the left are high cliffs and even a cave where you decide to stop for a while. In the cave is a golden mat. As you sit down on it to rest, a shimmering shaft of pure white light beams down on you through a crevice from above in the cave. You can feel the power of this spiritual energy filling your body, flowing through every pore and every cell, from your head all the way down to your toes. Now, with your energy levels topped up, you walk out of the cave and on down the long road. You approach a corner. What is around the corner? Intuitively, you already know. And at this moment, imagine whatever comes into your being for around the corner. For example, you could imagine that you are about to encounter a man on a bicycle, or a woman walking in a red dress, or a dog, or even a friendly rhino. Whatever comes into your mind, allow it to be that. Now turn that corner in your imagination and actually meet the entity that you had intuitively perceived. Say hello, offer your best wishes, and then continue to go on your way. Come out of your visualization gradually and relax back to normal. Now, for the rest of the day and for several days afterwards, every time you turn a corner or walk down a different street, walk into a shop, or walk out of your house, let your right brain take over from your left brain's thought and push yourself to pursue your intuition. Follow up your hunches and work with your sixth sense until it becomes an everyday experience. You may not always be right, but with practice, this sixth sense of ours can become your most effective of all your senses. Now, I want to share this right here. This is a video called Learning to Vibrate Correctly. And I will post the link to this as well.
All of us value different things in life. For some of us,
Bear with me just a moment. I have a small bit of lag tonight. Okay.
so we work throughout our 20s and 30s to create a legacy. For some, it's true love. They navigate the world with their hearts on their sleeve and wide eyes, looking for their soulmate. Regardless of the avenue of life, it's important you understand the laws that govern our universe, because in understanding them, you can get in harmony with them. And attract what you desire.
It's something that you really got to pay a lot of attention to. It's not something you learn overnight. But you get studying this, and you can literally have anything you want.
But before we can look at using natural laws to attract what you desire, we must first understand what it is. Simply put, natural law is an observable law relating to natural phenomena. Simply put, these laws govern everything that happens in the universe. These laws aren't good or bad. They don't aim to help or hurt or be positive or negative. They simply are. And in their neutrality, they are precise. The problem is that not many are aware of this. These laws operate in our lives constantly, dictating the results we get. Have you ever had a dream that seems to come true a few days later? Do you get a bad feeling, and what you feared came to pass? The universe does not discriminate between good and bad. The thoughts you have, whatever they are, will manifest with no regard for impact. The most well-known law of nature is the law of attraction, and you have very likely stumbled upon YouTube videos, Reels, and TikToks teaching you ways to attract what you desire, from money in abundance to your dream house and a soulmate. The law of attraction states that the things you focus on in your life are what you will attract into your life. Here are a form of energy. So when you think, I hope I won't fall sick, the universe doesn't conclude that you don't wish to fall sick. It only picks up on your negativity and fear and returns the same energy back to you.
A lot of people just use their imagination for, gosh, I hope this doesn't happen, or I hope that doesn't happen. They're letting it go in the wrong direction.
The law of vibration, though, is a little bit different. You see, it's the primary law, and the law of attraction is only the secondary law, because vibration is what leads to attraction. Albert Einstein said, quote, "Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. It's not philosophy, this is physics. When you raise your vibrations to the thing you want to achieve, nothing stops you from attracting the object of your desire."
When John Kennedy, when he was the president of the United States, asked the good doctor, the father of the space program, greatest scientist, you know, what it would take to build a rocket that'll carry a person to the moon and bring him back safely to Earth. He answered him in 5 words. He said, the will to do it.
That confidence comes from utmost faith in yourself and in the universe. The universe is in a constant state of movement, and these movements are vibrations. The speed of rate at which it vibrates, frequency. The only difference between any two objects is their frequency. Even objects you believe are static or still, like a table or a house, vibrate at low speed.
When you photograph mass, you can photograph a plant, and you'll see there's a vibration coming from the plant. Everything vibrates. A garden rock is vibrating. Everything moves. Nothing rests.
Your body, however, vibrates at an extremely high rate, and it impacts more than you know.
It starts right in your own mind, right in your own head. Your mind activates brain cells. And when those brain cells are activated, you're impacted. You impact the whole universe. Do you know that thought waves are cosmic waves that penetrate all time and space?
Your thoughts and feelings control the vibration of your body. And because that's the case, you also have the power to dictate the frequency you vibrate at. Your feelings or your vibrations will attract people and things to you that are a vibrational match. Simply put, you get what you put out there. If you are a negative person who always focuses on how things can go wrong, you will attract people who are also pessimistic and unwilling to look on the bright side. If you are hardworking and ambitious, you will keep a circle of equally hardworking and ambitious friends. While it is accurate to assume that your thoughts become things, it's more accurate to say that your vibration becomes things. The difference between the law of attraction and the law of vibration is that the former focuses on what you want, while the latter tells you what you have to give in order to receive.
We teach you the primary cause of the good that you desire. You take care of the cause, the effect always takes care of itself.
So, how can you begin to think and feel differently in order to attract your dream life? Bob Proctor has the answer. Bob Proctor was a Canadian self-help author, best known this New York Times bestseller, You Were Born Rich, and for his role in The Secret movie. And he doesn't just preach about using the law of vibration to get what you want. Proctor has used these techniques himself to earn a better life. He went from having no purpose or aim in his life to making millions through his business.
I had really been struggling my whole life. Never had a half-decent job, had nothing really going for me. And here I am, owning a company that operates in 7 cities, 3 countries. And I thought, how did it happen?
According to him, channeling your vibrational energy consciously in the right direction has the incredible potential miracles. Therefore, paying attention to your energy, as well as the energy of the people and things that surround you, can help you elevate your vibrations and exist at the same frequency as the things you desire. How does that work? Postulates that every particle in the universe is made up of energy, and microscopic studies have shown that matter is composed of molecules and atoms that also vibrate at a certain frequency. Our bodies are 99.999% empty space. In fact, all matter is mostly space, and the remaining mass is energy. If we condensed every living being to the point where there was no space between molecules, the entirety of our species would fit into the volume of a sugar cube. This empty space isn't for nothing. It allows for atoms to oscillate, electrons to pop in and out, and waves to function. And this is where the quantum world takes place, in the space between mass. A majority of our bodies are made up of quantum particles that we don't fully understand yet. To date, we've really only studied less than 1% of our bodies because we've only focused on the physical part, the part we can see and touch and feel. Because we're physical beings, we understand mass, matter, and atoms quite well because these things operate in a way similar to how we experience our physical reality. However, how can we begin to understand emptiness? We don't see it or feel it, it isn't tangible. And yet, it's the most important part of ourselves. And the law of vibration operates in this space, or more precisely, within the oscillations in space that we experience at an atomic level. It's rooted in quantum mysticism, which cites quantum mechanics. The topic is explored more deeply in literature, namely in Fritjof Capra's book, The Tao of Physics, which looks at the parallels between quantum physics and the principles of Eastern mystery. Then came Quantum Healing by Deepak Chopra, which explained the theory of mind and body healing using quantum concepts, followed later by his book, Ageless Body, which discussed healing, reverse aging, and immortality by adopting quantum worldview. Essentially, our bodies are made of information we can only perceive as solid matter because we never learned any different. But this avenue is less explored. The way the quantum world functions is still largely unknown to us because it's still a very new quantum world. You could throw a ball at a wall and it might reappear behind you and hit everywhere and nowhere, all simultaneously, and they can only be perceived as 100% real when there's an observer. And we still don't know why it works that way. The wave-particle duality has been used to explain manifestation, why we have no such formula for manifesting. We're in the dark about many things in quantum mysticism, and we look to quantum mechanics for answers, whenever they may come. However, knowing for certain how it works isn't necessary. We can still embark on the journey to increasing our vibrations and attracting a better life. The key is first learning about yourself, because it all comes down to your intuition. Have you ever had a hunch about something? Your head says one thing after weighing the pros and cons, but a certain prickly feeling or voice in your head tells you to go the other way. Or maybe you walked into a room after an argument and felt the heaviness without even seeing the faces of the people present. The law of vibration is closely tied to your intuition and is responsible for those gut feelings you get. Taking a different route to work and missing an accident, taking a day off from the office and your workplace facing a crisis, all of these are examples of how the law of vibration is already operating in your life. You may not recognize it, but it's there. Quantum physicists are currently studying the entanglement of atoms, which happens when atoms share information across large. This could explain why you might intuitively know something before it happens to a loved one. This understanding is also responsible for the people you're attracted to. If you've ever met someone you just didn't like, but couldn't quite figure out why, the law of vibration Energetically, nature is very strong and has a positive impact on our bodies. So, now that we have understood somewhat how the law of vibration works, how we impact it, and how it impacts us, how can we actually begin raising our vibrations?
As Vanderwall taught me, he says it's all in awareness, Bob. He said there's a marvelous inner world that exists within us. And the revelation of such a world enables us to do, to attain, to achieve anything we desire within the bounds or limits of nature.
Why is this important? It goes back to the words of Einstein. If you get into the picture, into the energy of the good you desire, you can't help but manifest it. In the early 2000s, a woman named Sally Gallagher attended one of Proctor's seminars. She was a securities attorney and, by his words, a financial genius, and she loved Proctor's teachings. One thing led to another, and Gallagher became Proctor's business partner, which worked out perfectly because Proctor was making money he didn't know how to manage. He essentially attracted the perfect business partner who took care of the thing he needed help with the most.
And I could just go ahead and do what I love doing. And I knew that our company was in good hands with that. And Sandy runs our company. She is the CEO, the president.
Simply put, you've got to become aware of what you want and hold that image in your mind for it to move into reality. Here's another way to put it. You are moving this image from your subconscious mind to your conscious mind.
It's the thoughts that you think in your conscious mind that you impress upon your subconscious mind that causes you to feel the way you feel. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. Those feelings are expressed with and through your physical body. That causes the action which produces the result. Now, getting them all lined up is called attitude. Now, some people line up on the negative side. They're going to see what's wrong. And you know,
We have the ability to think anything process.
literally separate us and improve.
Find your purpose goes on within it. It is
video
buzzing with
and
energy.
learned something, lumped in there together to receive. We have to put our thought energy into what we want to see and manifest into our world, our reality. That means dressing the part, acting the part, feeling it, walking the walk, thinking the thought that lead you to where your desires want to see you. Instead of the traditional way to see it to believe it, see it to realize it, to make it manifest right before your eyes. And you don't have to worry about how it gets to you or how you get to it because the paths will open, the doors will unlock, and things will start coming to you. Just as he said that he needed a business partner to help him financially. And she just magically appeared. The universe just aligned them and brought them together. That's the beauty of all of this. To be psychic, to trust your intuition, is to be fully whole, to be healthy and happy in all of your desires. So remember to be grateful for what you have on a daily basis because this alone is going to help you to change those negative thoughts into more positive thoughts. Being grateful, staying in that energy of gratitude of what you do have, but also having that feeling and that sense of having something more, something different, something more in alignment with who you want to see yourself to be. Sounds simple, very hard to control your thoughts. But if you can mind your thoughts rather than minding your thoughts, lots of beautiful things can move your direction and open up for you. So that's where I'm going to leave this lesson. I hope you have enjoyed it. And if you did, please give me that thumbs up. If you've not already, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. Leave some comments down below. Talk to me. Let's interact. I love to hear from you. And until the next lesson, be well and be blessed in your love and light. Goodbye.